Okay. Tell us about your mammy. Now, this is when your mammy was a wee girl and she hurt herself, didn't she? She had a wee accident, didn't she, your mammy?
I can't remember that.
She fell down some steps or something, or fell down the side of the courthouse. You told me that. And
I forgot about it.
yes, and wasn't she blind in one eye because of it?
Never remembered that.
And you told me,
Well, sure, you were right.
you told me she was out cold for a day or two, and they thought maybe she'd die or was dead, didn't they?
And I've forgot every bit of that.
Yeah, okay, have you? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, where did your mommy live when she was a wee girl? Did she live in Oma? Or did she live in another place? At least she lived in Mountfield when she got married.
Mm-hmm.
Did they live in Oma before that or something? So what did Granny's parents, what did they do? What was their job?
I don't remember that either.
Out at Mountfield, wasn't there was some kind of estate?
Yes, it was it was a very fancy place, and it belonged to people from over in England who used to come, and that's where they
Yes,
and they would go back again, to England.
yes, they came over to shoot at
Yes.
the pheasants and that kind of thing.
Yes, that's correct.
And then, isn't there a picture of your grandmother, your grandparents on your mummy's side were dead before you were born? Isn't that right? I think they were, weren't they? Do you remember ever they were
I don't remember seeing it ever.
your grandmother's maiden name was Gallagher, wasn't it?
And that's another thing I've forgotten all about.
And your mummy's maiden name was Gorman.
Yes, I never forgot that.
Yes.
No way.
So anyway, okay. And there's this photo of your grandmother, your mummy's mummy, in a very fancy Victorian dress, isn't it?
Yes, there's a lovely one.
And what's the theory where there's this theory she got a ticket when she was over in England or something? She used to go over to England and work for the English ones who came over to shoot, didn't they?
Yes, but no one never find out because she was a nurse there for a long time.
So it's your mummy's mummy was a nurse?
My mother was a nurse.
Oh yes, I know that. So anyway, tell us about Granny and Granda meeting.
Well, I didn't know how they met.
He was a bread man, wasn't he?
Yes,
What was a bread man?
bread man, need to put my teeth in for a starter. He went round the country selling it.
Yes, to farm sliced bread.
Yes.
Yes, for what was the bakery again?
God, what was the bakery?
Inglis.
Well, I didn't remember that at all.
Yes.
Inglis?
I can vaguely remember him being a bread man, And he always wore his coat, even when he retired. He wore the coat, the that he had, you know, the kind of overall he had.
They wore that so that they would be clean. But sure,
I'll turn a bit towards me, Mummy.
right.
No, don't, not that far. Just anyway. So anyway, he'd be out in his rounds.
Uh-huh.
And who did he keep meeting all the time? Each place he went, she'd run ahead, wouldn't she?
Daddy, my mother.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
She'd run ahead and he'd arrive and she'd be there, and the next place she'd be there, and the next place she'd be there, isn't that right?
Yes.
So obviously she fancied him.
Oh, yes. And she did. Mm-hmm.
But before she married him, what did she do?
Nurse.
Yes, she went over to Birmingham, didn't she, to train to be an orthopaedic nurse. And she worked for, how long did she work? She only worked a very short while.
I don't know. I didn't know that.
There's a photo of her, I think Vincent has it, of her in her nurse's uniform with a wee boy on her knee.
Oh, I've seen that too.
Yes.
I've seen that.
So anyway, so she didn't work very long, and she came home to marry.
We came to the south of England too, for the way.
I don't know where she went. The only place I know,
Didn't.
the only place I know about is Birmingham.
I know, but I'm telling you.
Okay, maybe Vincent knows where she went. Well, anyway, when it came to them getting married, what happened?
Oh, I've never forgot this, don't worry. And Mimi, well, I would say it would have been Kathleen, not Mimi.
Who were Mimi and Kathleen?
Her two sisters,
Yes.
that they didn't want her to marry Daddy at all.
He wasn't good enough.
I don't think that was the thing. They just didn't want her to marry at all.
It was easier to get into heaven if you hadn't married, didn't they say that?
Oh, did they say that?
I think one of them used to said that at one stage. They said that to Uncle Tony one time, didn't they?
Like, oh, I know, they're nuts.
Aye,
Not, Mimi, not Kathleen. The naughty one, Kathleen. And her was the teacher, and clever she was.
she went to Crowley Primary School because she was clever, didn't she?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you told me that.
Well, I've forgotten.
But anyway, what happened the day before the wedding? Did your mummy spend the night before the wedding anywhere?
Yes, next door neighbour.
And why was that?
Because they more or less didn't let her come in or shouted at her that she wasn't to marry. And the lady next door took her and she was a Protestant.
Oh, she was a Protestant.
Yes.
And she was a nice Protestant.
Yes, she was.
Yes.
He took her in.
Yes. And then when they got married, did she wear a white dress? Because I can remember that the wedding photo. Did she wear a white dress?
I don't remember.
There was a suit.
Yes. Yes, it was a suit, definitely.
And who else was in that photo? There was Jack, there was Granda, obviously, and there was Jack, his brother, isn't that right?
I didn't know that.
And there was a lady Might have been, I'm not entirely sure who was the lady in it. No, we still have that photo somewhere. So anyway, they got married. And did they have a honeymoon, you think?
No, I would think not. They didn't. People didn't do honeymoon in those days.
So where did they live, first of all? Brookmount Road.
Yes, but where in Brookmount Road? Can't think where.
Did they not have a house in Brookmount Road?
Probably.
Well, anyway, now that's us up to, that's 15 minutes or so. Oh, no, it's 9 minutes.
I'm going to clean that. And I'm going to tell the dog it goes near.
It's just doing what comes naturally, Mammy, barking.
What on the bloody... That's barking this here.
Oh, the marks. Who's coming tomorrow?
Your brother.
What do you call him?
I can see him.
What? It starts with T.
Sorry.
Good. He's coming tomorrow. All right then, Mammy. That's enough for today. Okay. Was Oma a poor place in those days, where you lived on the Brookmount Road?
I didn't live in Brookmount Road.
Where did you live?
I lived up there. I forget what you call it.
Was that the rope walk?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, are you sure it wasn't the Brookmount Road, your house?
No, it was on Brown. It was on Brookmount Road.
It was.
Yes.
Now, were people poor in those days? What were the houses like?
Well, I was never in anybody's house, only me.
What about the 22 Bradleys?
I was never in their house.
Now tell me about the 22 Bradleys.
Nothing much to say that they mother had 22 children.
Yes. And you knew one of the younger ones.
Which one? Can't remember.
Maybe she was a granddaughter. Was she the daughter of the one that had the baby outside of marriage and then went to America?
Oh, no.
No, she wasn't. It was another one of them that had the daughter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then the mother went to America, met somebody, got married, and sent for her daughter, didn't she?
Yes, she did, which was lovely.
Yes. So she loved her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's very good. In those days, it was a big disgrace to have a baby outside of marriage, wasn't it?
Yes.
And what did they do with the unwanted babies, Oma? Who looked after them?
The nuns would have done it.
Or the wet nurse? What about that? There was a wet nurse, wasn't there?
Yes, but that's just only a stupid name.
She looked after the unwanted babies, didn't
Yes.
she?
Mm-hmm.
And the girls weren't allowed to see them, were they?
Well, I never knew that. My mother and father didn't know me much, or tell me much.
Yes.
That's it. I never knew at all for the good while what about babies that way.
Okay.
Never told.
Now, did your mummy and daddy feed half the countryside?
I don't know how they just about could feed us.
You told me there was a wee fella who had wellies.
Oh yes, that wee fella. He was down from the brook. He came up And he used to wear wellies with that they were always wet. But
And you fed him. He always appeared to be there at supper time, wasn't he?
well, he wasn't that bright that he wouldn't do it on purpose. He just would like more food.
And his mummy and daddy were poor.
Yes, and as Wellington, he came across the brook.
And there was holes in his valleys, wasn't there? And his feet smelt.
Yes, it was terrible.
And wasn't there somebody whose daddy was an alcoholic and Granda basically fed them, didn't they? And that was why he went out to business, basically, isn't it?
He was a very good man.
Yes, and there was somebody who was an alcoholic, wasn't there?
I can't remember.
You told me the daddy was an alcoholic and the mommy would get stuff in Granny and Granda's shop and never pay for it. And Granda always gave it.
Yes, he would. He would feed everyone, so he did.
And the houses that they had in those days, wouldn't there be one toilet for a whole load of houses?
Well, that wouldn't even be maybe a whole toilet. The brook, the other side where the brook was, they would have a wee place to go where he could go in and come out again.
Yes.
And that's what the shit used to just drop down, and we weren't allowed to go down to the bottom of at that time.
Yes. Right. Now, who was your best friend?
Farmer Burns.
And what kind of things did you used to do?
What did we do?
Did you go to dances?
Oh yes, always dances.
And who made the dresses?
Mrs. Burns.
Did she make your wedding dress?
I think she did, yes.
And was it a nice wedding dress?
It was very nice. She's very good. She was very good.
And she lived a good old age, didn't she?
I don't know.
She was in her 90s when she died.
Yes.
And she used to go to bingo with my grandmother, didn't she?
And I went with them too.
Yes. And,
About 5 of us. We used to go up in the hall.
right.
I can't remember what the...
And did Carmel Burns come home recently?
Did you?
You went and met her down near Oma, out in the Mellon Country Inn.
Oh yes, that was a big
That was this year or last year, wasn't it?
Yes, it would be at least 2 years ago.
And then, did Mrs. Burns make a lot of dresses for Carmel?
Oh yes, it had to be good. And you know, in those days you don't see much of your body at the top. But Cameron made her mother do it down, you know.
Oh, low-cut cleavage.
Yes.
Disgraceful. Isn't it disgraceful? Okay, now. Now, what kind of food did you have to eat? Porridge.
Yeah, I just said the same thing at the same time.
Did you like porridge?
Well, you hadn't much choice.
How often every day did you eat porridge?
Well, I never counted it.
Haven't you told me you had it twice a day? Breakfast and supper time.
Yeah.
And what about your granny's soup?
What was that made of? I
I don't know.
I don't remember it.
You don't. Did you like your granny's soup? Or my mummy's? Yeah, sorry. Did you like my granny's soup?
I don't remember not liking it, but I was a wee bit iffy and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And were your brothers and sisters well behaved?
Yes, they always were.
What about Vincent chucking a rotten tomato at somebody, or was it Sean?
That was Vincent.
And then his eye was all full of rotten tomatoes, and they weren't going to take your...
The parents wasn't going to take them up the hill, up to...
The opticians?
Yes, I can see it now.
Yes.
And
Who was the optician?
I don't know, but she was a very good friend of...
Oh, I remember now about the optician. She was the only girl who passed... there was only one scholarship to the grammar school in her day, and she passed it and went to train to be an optician.
Yes, it was great. I guarantee she didn't... I'm nearly certain she didn't ever charge her granny.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were friends, you know, they'd gone to the school together.
And Kevin had his rabbits.
Right.
And Brendan would try to sneak out without doing his homework. And Granny took her shoes off him.
I don't remember that wee bit.
And was there a TV in those days?
We had a TV, yes. But it wasn't much good.
And what happened during the school term to the TV?
Oh, it was taken away.
Put in a tea chest.
Uh-huh.
I remember tea chests, you know,
And
for some reason. That's what people used to use instead of a whole load of cardboard boxes, isn't that right? Tea chests.
uh-huh.
Okay. Now, tell me about Una getting her arm burnt.
Oh,
That's your sister, Una.
yes, and notice. We were all sitting around the table, waiting for, I can't remember, it must have been at lunchtime or in the evening. I would say lunchtime. We were all sitting around, and Daddy was going around pouring the tea, and you kept going round and round, and Una stuck her arm out and burnt her arm here.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't wait. She must have been very hungry.
Uh-huh. And then, let me see.